What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Burndown YouTube channel. So we are still out here on the boom we were working on the trunk section, and today I have that cooler. If you guys have been following along, we're gonna go water to air, and you need a place to house the water and ice, and then you pump it to the cooler and then you blow air through it. That goes in your motor, and hopefully you make a little more power doing that. So let me see if I can find it. We bought a Walmart cooler. It's not in the trunk. I pulled it out of the trunk and I was staring at it. Here it is. Bam. So I was looking at it and looking at it. This is I believe they call it rotomold plastic container, right? It's double wall insulated. I think they pump insulation in here because I pulled these screws out. I was trying to pull this liner out, but it's kind of stuck. And this is what holds the liquid, obviously, and then you have your air gap here. Well, I made the little cradle in the car to mount this into, but now we have to hold it down, right? In case something happens, if I crash, if we're driving down the road, I don't want this thing flying around, flopping around. And I was trying to think about tech, right? Because if tech looks at this, it's in the trunk of the car, they get to make the decision for the most part whether or not I mounted it properly. So initially I was thinking, these screws go right in the plastic. This is pretty hard plastic. And I was like, man, maybe I could just rivet something or make some straps. And I went over and over and I sat and stared at this for a while. And then my genius kicked in, and this is what I came up with. And then this is what we're going to use to make it. I think this is like a probably 18 gauge sheet steel. So the plan is right here. So that's my exploited view. And there's an indent here and an indent here. And when you shut this, you still have a bit of a gap here. And then also I realized, you have, this is fat, and the thickness of this is pretty wide where the gasket's here, right? So this is basically your seal onto that. And then liquid isn't here. So I'm thinking what we'll do, so we gotta measure really well, but I think we're gonna punch a hole all the way through here and then down into here, right? That'll give me a hole, and then I'm gonna make a C-clamp like this that mounts on, and then you through bolt it. So now that's through bolted, and then what I'll do is I'll put a hole in the center, and I'm gonna have a stud sticking out this way that I can weld kind of to the back. So when you put it on, this will bolt through and you'll have a C-clamp, and then the stud will be hanging out here. Then we can bolt from there down to the bar that's in the car. You with me? You following me? And then I was thinking of how many bolts I could use and all that other stuff. I think we're just gonna do one. I got some pretty good, I'll show you in a minute, but like 3/8. I figure one fatty 3/8 bolt, bam, going through with the washer on top. And then what we'll do is wherever we end up bolting through, we'll probably just drill a hole here, right? So when you shut this, it doesn't hold it up and it'll still seal. So that was the idea I came up with. We're gonna execute that today. First we'll get our cardboard, we'll make templates. Actually not cardboard, it's poster board. We'll make a template, and that's how I'm gonna go about doing this. But like I said, typically when I do stuff, I try to think of 30 different ways that you can do the same thing, and then I weed those down in my brain on what's good and why. And again, I thought about just riveting to this thing. I thought about all kinds of other ideas, and then that's as far as I got as far as a way to connect this so you have a stud hanging off of here. And then I still have to figure out how to physically mount it in the car, which should be a little bit easier because it's just 2 attachment points. We'll cross that bridge when we get there, which will take more thinking. But let's make this piece. I'll kind of show you how I go about doing it, and then as soon as we finish, you and I are gonna go, oh, I could have done this or that, or somebody in the comments is gonna have some genius input. But that's my story. I'm sticking to it. Let's get rolling. Okay, so we used the template, and then I marked a bunch of stuff off. We even transferred the hole, so when I make this piece, it'll have the hole in the right spot. And if you're wondering, I look at this too, and it's like, Dane, couldn't you just drill a hole all the way through and then use your washer to secure it and be done? And I could, right? This is overcomplicating things a little bit, in my opinion, because I might just run this bracket and then run off the bolt on the bottom. But I feel like, for me, the guy that gets in this car and drives this thing, and it kind of is a pile, let's be honest, putting this with a washer is good enough, right? But I'm trying to think what the guy in the tech lane would kind of want to see. So we're gonna over engineer it a bit or overdo it, so where you would look at it and go, oh, that's kind of redundant and stupid, but I'm like, it's not for me. I think this plastic is hard enough, and I think this washer and this bolt are good, but I think having a little extra effort on here is going to go a long way when I go to tech to different tracks and stuff, and they see and go, oh, okay, this guy made this clamp that goes on and it's bolted through. Probably makes them feel better, a little more warm and fuzzy than just a bolt and a washer, and they're like, oh, this dude's a yahoo. So that's why we're doing that, because I'm sure right now people are like, what are you doing? That's enough, just, you know, move on. But anyway, made the template, poked a hole, used my little dude to put a divot, and then you and I are going to drill holes in this thing. So my $80 cooler, wish me luck. Hopefully we drill straight down is the plan. Let's drill some holes. I had a long drill bit, but I don't know where it went. Man, that is some tough plastic though. I do have to say, this thing is like, yeah, it's pretty rigid. Hopefully, dude, I don't know. Go find a longer drill bit than this. I'll be right back and we'll try it again. But let's get that other pilot started real quick. So again, I just marked it. All right. Find something longer than this, and we got to go 3/8. So maybe we'll just go straight commando on it. Let me go see what I got. I'll be right back. Okay, we're gonna start off a little smaller. We'll be shy, and then this should be long enough to go through. And then we'll step it up to the big dog, the 3/8. So, wish me luck. Alright, hopefully we're drilling. Woo, like warm butter. Warm butter. And warm foam. Oh, oh. Feels like you're doing funky stuff. Come on. We're in it now, boys. We're in it now. Moment of truth. Woo, doggy. All right, we got one. Man. Not quite as straight as I wanted it to be, but all right, we got one. Dude, that's some thick plastic, man. That stuff really is pretty darn thick. So, I mean, I think rivets, I think all that stuff would actually hold in this thing because it's so darn thick. I'm just gonna stick with the plan though, because I don't want to overthink it. I want to get progress done. But one hole down, we'll do the other side, and then I'll bring it back when we make a little piece, and then we'll try to fit it on there, and then we'll brainstorm from there. All right, ta-da, well, here you go. Hopefully I don't get popped for the music in the background coming from across the street, but this is the idea. Put some holes in here, so when you shut it, it goes in there, it captures it. You can see, you lock it down, bada boom, bada bing, it comes all the way through. So now we have this mount, and I think if I was a tech guy and I saw that, I would be a lot happier that the thing was captured. Then when you open it up, you can see that it's bolted and captured all the way through. So that's a much more sturdy mount. This plastic is thick though, man. I think this with a washer would do it, but I just don't want some overzealous tech dude to be like, you can't run because this is hokey and you're an idiot. Go back home. So I feel like this is our best shot to move forward. So now let me think a little bit on it. What I was thinking was sticking another bolt on the back side and then welding it so it's basically captured to this plate. And then we have a little stud sticking out, and then we can come down off of that. But I'm gonna set this in the car. We can look at it real quick together, and then I will brainstorm and bring you back with whatever my idea is. So here's a look at the side mount, right? So we're bolted through. So this is through the metal, through the plastic, and then this isn't welded. and I'm sure you guys are wondering how we did that, so I'll show you. We got a hole here, hole that goes all the way through, and then I'm going to weld this on the back side so it's captured so when you tighten it up, right? So if I slide this on here like so, you can see that the hole lines up, your hard bar goes through. It worked out that the head of this doesn't interfere, and then you zip it on down. I don't know if we can do this one-handed. Look at that, like a pro, baby. See? So bolt it through, and then this will be welded. So let me make sure that these are the size. This is the size hardware I want. I think this will be fine because I need a sideways piece. So we can just weld the tube to tube. And our overcomplicated water holder should be looking pretty good. All right, well, the sun is going down. We accomplished our goal. Everything's just tacked in place. And let me give you a look at this, and then we'll slide the fuel cell back in and we'll get a gander at the whole apparatus. But I'm pretty happy with the way this turned out. Although I feel like for a $70 cooler, it was a lot of effort on my part. I still have to plumb the thing. And I'm sure after we look at this and somebody looks at it, they'll be like, why didn't you just do this? And I'll be like, ah, but let's check it out. Dun, da, da, da. Bam. Woo-wee. All right, there she is in place. Rock and roll. There you go. That is how it's done. So these right on a little stud. This here, this is through bolted, and this transfers down to that, and you slide it across. So this linkage comes off, this piece comes off, and then just those little things stay on the frame. So again, we got to finish weld all this stuff. Let me throw the fuel cell back in. We get a look at how we did, then we'll get this thing wrapped. All right, here they are, the dynamic duo. So the lid works. We're not hitting. Yeah, I think what we're gonna do, we're gonna be all right. So that is it. I gotta clean up. It's gonna be a new week. The hardest thing for me, let me know what you guys think, is it's the idea on the fabrication. Because like I said before, this is all a blank slate, a blank canvas. It's just this box floating, right? And then you make a couple stringers because that makes sense, but then it's like, how do you actually attach this thing? So that was the best guess that I could come up with today, and we executed. And I wanted to do the best job I could for the most part because it's permanent. That thing's gonna stay in there, hopefully for quite a while. I mean, I'm going water to air and doing what we're doing. Unless that thing dies or something, I don't know, we shouldn't have to take it out of there. So that's it. We'll have to figure out how to plumb it. But next, we're going to work on putting all the tin back in. So the wheel tubs, I haven't decided what we're gonna do here. I might just make a panel, just kind of cover this, not get too crazy with the cheese whiz. And before we do all that, like none of this stuff, everything's just tacked. This will take a washer and, a final assembly type deal, but we gotta weld all this stuff up, maybe squirt a little black paint on things. So plenty to do. We're getting closer. We'll put tin back in, and then we'll spin it around, and we'll spend a bunch of time on hot side and cold side. Never ending battle. You guys know what to do. Like, subscribe, share. Till next time, I'm out.